Hey guys, hope everyone is doing okay. Wanted to do another little video here for some people's benefit, considering the last one was just such a massive hit and went viral and everything, so we might as well do it again. So some people had requested glassware, actually, which happy to do. So figured we could do a little glassware tasting to kind of maybe get into some of the nuances and the differences between things that most of us have in our house at this time. So basically have lined up a bunch of Zaltos, different shapes and sizes, and the sensory glass as well. And what I'd really love for you guys to do is kind of get a relationship a little bit more with your wine glasses, like, get to know them a little bit better. You'll then kind of have a better understanding of when you're opening up a bottle of wine on a given night. What kind of glass do you want to have? What's the mood of the glass that you want? When I say that, I mean that each glass is going to impact the wine and have its own unique kind of characteristics. It's going to make the wine taste one way or another. Some are going to make the wine taste a little bit fruitier, some a little bit more minerally, some a little bit more taut, some maybe even a little bit more expressive. So it's figuring out, the combination of the style of wine and the style of glass and how they're going to interconnect to kind of do what you want to get out of that wine on a given night. So here we have Zaltos, and here I guess as well, but we'll start over here with a Warrior Saint Denis Boussière Roumier 2007, great vintage for Roumier as we know. And so here we have the Zalto Universal, the Zalto Bordeaux, the Zalto Burgundy, and then the sensory glass here as well. And I primed them all, of course, beforehand. I even gave all of these a double prime, just primed each glass twice because some of them still seem to have a little bit of aroma to them. Just wanted to make sure that all got away. So let's see what some of the differences are. You guys twisted my arm here to make me open up some bottles of wine, something I never do. All right, so the Zalto Universal definitely seems to be, it's like a little shy, a little quiet in the glass right now. Flavors are all good though. Flavors are still there. So comparatively, let's go up. It's a similar shape, the Zalto Bordeaux now, but just kind of bigger, more expansive. And there is a clear big step up in aromas here. The Universal just kind of contains it a little bit more with its small kind of tightness in a way. While this just kind of like the wine is coming out of the glass a lot more. You get a lot more spice to it, a lot more red fruit. Yeah, it's just more depth as well. So that's definitely a winner over that. Kind of has to be expected. But there are some people that really like the Universal for reds as well. Like Jeremy Sace of Dujac, like he thinks the Zalto Universal is the best glass for anything and everything, red and white. Yeah. Always exceptions, of course. It might be even a little bit richer on the palate of the Zalto Bordeaux. So now the Zalto Burgundy. Yeah, I mean this is probably the most controversial glass in a way because it's so big. It's so much bigger and wider compared to this. It takes up a lot more cabinet space. It also, I feel like this glass, it kind of traps in a lot of the cabinet smells because you can see the lines. The lines are really they're pretty sharp and steep. And if they're in the cabinet too long, it really just traps those aromas in there. You have to take it out hours in advance, otherwise it's not going to be that good. These have all been out for hours. I cleaned all of these earlier on today. There's definitely kind of a more elegance to the Zalto Burgundy. It's a little bit cleaner. It's a little bit more minerally. While the Zalto Bordeaux here, let's see, I remember it being a little bit kind of juicier. Yeah, the Zalto Bordeaux definitely gives a little bit more succulence to it. There's a little bit more spice. Well, this is kind of more like clean mineral. I think I might even still get a little something with the cabinet with this glass. I mean, it's really hard to get all of the smells out of there, even after being out for hours and double priming. I also don't think the taste is as good out of that. It's a little bit leaner. Okay, let's do the Century now. So the Century, as we know, is made by Roberto Conterno, who makes Monfortino and everything in Piemonte, and he worked with Schwat Zwiesel to make this kind of perfect glass in his opinion. I generally think it's the best glass for Nebbiolo. I'd say 95% of the time it's what I want to use for Nebbiolo. Although last night I did open up a 2010 Langhe from Rinaldi, and I compared it in both a Zalto Burgundy, because I was kind of wondering just how that would be in there, and a Sensory, and I actually preferred that wine last night. I think it was more in my mood in the Zalto Burgundy. It had a little bit more of kind of a clarity to it and elegance, while the Sensory kind of made it a little bit more plush. I usually find that with the Sensory that it adds a little bit of fruit almost to the wine. It kind of, makes it a little bit more fruity, a little bit more lush in that regard. It makes it more giving, a little bit more easy to drink, which for Nebbiolo, like with those kind of tannins, it's not a bad thing. I kind of think that while the Zalto Burgundy made it a little bit more minerally and kind of one-dimensional in that minerally aspect, this is making it a little bit more one-dimensional in its kind of fruit-forward aspect. Yeah, I just took the Zalto Bordeaux here for the Roumier. Just kind of wins in terms of completeness. You get fruit, you still get some complex minerals, you get more of the spicy overtones to it. Palate feels a little darker on the Century as well. Let's see about that. Yeah, that seems a little fresher. So, Zalto Bordeaux glass definitely wins for the Burgundy here. Now, we have here a Rhone, a Côte Rôtie from Benetier, 2006. Great kind of more up-and-coming Côte Rôtie producer, only been making wines for, I'm not sure how long, 15 or 20 years, but at the same time not that well-known comparatively. So, let's start with the Universal. Hold on. Let's move these a touch out of the way, give them a run. Ooh, I mean, that's good. That one is just good in general. Real classic with just bacon, olive tapenade kind of aromas, everything you want in a medium-aged Rhone. Yeah, it's like purple velvet, you kind of smell on there. It's great. Anyway, onto the glasses. And that's generally it's pretty giving and clean on the Zalto Universal. Let's see about the Zalto Bordeaux. You lose a little bit of punch. It's interesting where the Zalto Universal with the Roumier seemed really to contain the wine, make it tighter. This really seemed to kind of push the fruit out of the glass. There's just so much more fruit in a young Côte Rôtie like that it's just kind of like shooting out. Zalto Bordeaux, it's a little bit quieter. You get a little bit more of the kind of earthy tapenade aromas as opposed to the kind of purple velvety fruit that the Universal had. A little bit redder. Well, yeah, that's a little bit more purpley. Well, let's see. Both really good. They're kind of equally as good, a little bit different, but both really nice. Yeah, I'm fine with either of those, just depending on if you want a little bit more fruit or a little bit more earth. Zalto Burgundy now. Yeah, again, this kind of makes it quieter, a little more cerebral, if you will. Which is kind of what I wanted last night in my wine. I was just thinking I wanted something a little bit more toned down and really like to be able to see through it in a quiet way. But my mood's not there tonight. Still very good on the palate. The nose is just a little quieter. Let's see about the sensory. I feel like I haven't had that many Rhones that are sensories for whatever reason. I mean, it's juicy for sure. But again, it's a little bit one-noted juiciness compared to the Zalto Universal and Bordeaux, which just kind of seem to have a little bit more complexity. Let's compare. Yeah, I mean, there's more depth of fruit for sure with the sensory. But you get more of the kind of classic Rhone aromas with the Zalto. Zalto Universal. It seems Zalto Universal feels a little quieter now. Maybe it's just like after the fruitiness of this. Again, I'm probably leaning towards the Zalto Bordeaux to be the most complete for these. Very good though, in general. Yeah, no complaints. I mean, the wines are showing great in general, so it's good to have just wines that are expressive like this, that showcase exactly what they are. It gives it's a good control for all the glasses. Hi, Waverly. Yeah, you can say hi.
Hi.
Hi, that's Waverly.
I'm a huge food eater.
Yeah.
I eat everything.
Yes, you mentioned last week as well.
Yeah.
And you requested the dinner tonight, right? Which is?
Spit roasted chicken.
Yep. Dada set up the rotisserie tonight on the grill for the first time this year, so we'll put it in action.
None of his chickens are bad.
Thank you. No. Cool. So in general, I mean, I think tonight that the Zalto Bordeaux wins kind of all of these. You know, if we were having something else, like if we were having like, you know, Piedmont or something like that, I probably would gravitate more towards the sensory. And in terms of wait, come on, this is right there. And in terms of white wines, I mean, I'd say 90%, maybe 80% of the time, let's say, I go for the Zalto Universal right away. It just kind of adds crispness and freshness to the wine. But at the same time, if you have something that you want to get aromas that are a little bit wider, I then use the Zalto Bordeaux. You may ask why there's no Riedel in here, because I actually don't have any Riedel Burgundy glasses at this time. I kind of gave them away to friends. I do have a couple Riedel Bordeaux, but whatever, we were focusing on this. So I hope you guys learned a little something and just enjoyed watching me drink at the same time, something none of you have ever seen before. So yeah, just have some fun, experiment with your glasses, get to know them a little bit more, get that relationship with them going, and see where your head's at of what kind of style you want that night. And that's kind of what it's all about. And in terms of actually cleaning your glasses and polishing and stuff, I really just clean them under hot water, as hot as you can possibly get it, like when it starts to steam, and you really just then want to like clean all over, just twist it out in your hands, just kind of wipe it down. And if you have like a big kind of wiry brush of some sort, you can use one of those. Actually, hold on, let me go right here. I'll show you one. Sorry, just something like this that you then kind of put in right after you clean it. And try not to use soap. Use soap maybe on occasion, but really not that often. You want to avoid soapy aromas whenever you can. Occasionally, I'll put things in the dishwasher. I'll load up like a full dishwasher full of Zaltos or something. You just want to make sure they're very secure. I don't think the sensories can go in the dishwasher, but the Zaltos, you just want to have really secure in there so they're not going to bop around or anything and break when they're in there. And polishing, I honestly don't really polish at home. I feel like at least half of the glasses that I've ever broken in my life have broken during polishing. So I just kind of like give them a gentle wipe down and then let them air dry. You just want to kind of get as much water out of there as possible with kind of, flicking it very gently, because otherwise if you go too fast, the whole bowl is going to come off, and we don't want that. Hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I will talk to you guys soon, and hopefully see you all sooner than later so we can enjoy all of this together again. So take care, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye.